These guys right here. So what do these things do exactly? Well, they go in the exhaust pipes right before and after the catalytic converters, measuring the oxygen levels. Those oxygen levels are measured in real time, and the engine's computer uses this information to constantly adjust the air-fuel mixture. These O2 sensors are simply screwed into place and at the other end connected with this harness. Hey guys, welcome to One Road. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this 2003 Chevrolet Suburban. We're going to be checking out a check engine light that I have, scanning that, figuring out what the problem is, and we're also going to be changing out some O2 sensors. So if you have a check engine light on, it's throwing a P0135, 134, something like that. Maybe your check engine light isn't on, but you have terrible fuel mileage, or the truck is just kind of running bad, idling rough. This may just be the video for you. The dreaded check engine light. You can see here, I have it, but that is actually a good thing. The vehicle you see behind me is a 2003 Chevrolet Suburban, which means it's part of the OBD2 system, and it also means that that check engine light will tell me a lot. Breaking out the trusty OBD2 scanner, I can look for the port which on my vehicle is located right about here. Next, I'll take the end here and plug it in. And when I do that, the screen comes on. Then I'll take the key, put it in the run position, and then I'll press enter on the scanner. I'll enter into the diagnostics mode, and then I'll read codes. And right here, I have a P0135, which is an O2 sensor heater, circuit bank 1, sensor 1. And right here, I can see that this is 1 out of 1 stored codes. So let's go back and go down to pending codes. And with our pending codes, you see we have 2. This one is a P0134, which is an O2 sensor circuit, no activity detected, bank 1, sensor 1. And the second code is the same as the first one we saw, which was stored O2 sensor heater circuit, bank 1, sensor 1. So now I know I have a bad O2 sensor. So what am I going to do about it? Just change the 1? No, I'm going to change all 4. Yes, that's right. While my 1995 Suburban only had 1 O2 sensor, this 2003 Suburban has 4. These guys right here. So what do these things do exactly? Well, they go in the exhaust pipes right before and after the catalytic converters, measuring the oxygen levels. Those oxygen levels are measured in real time, and the engine's computer uses this information to constantly adjust the air-fuel mixture. These O2 sensors are simply screwed into place and at the other end connected with this harness. And another note, with a part like this, you want quality. In my case, this is a GM vehicle, so I opted for genuine GM parts. And I recommend you do the same. With your manufacturer, of course. If you're curious, I'll put a link to this exact part I'm using down in the description below. The very first thing I'm going to do to begin this process is disconnect the negative side of the battery. I'm under the truck now, and this is the rear O2 sensor on the passenger side. And you can see, while it's not particularly clean, it's not overly rusted either. In some cases, these are unbelievably rusted, and you're gonna wanna use penetrant. In my case, I'm gonna try it without. I've got my 7/8 wrench here, and you can see it's a relatively long one, and I'm gonna attempt to loosen this with just a few strong pulls. Okay. In the form of more persuasion, I'm going to try using a rubber mallet. A nice sharp blow from this mallet should be able to knock this nut loose. So let's try it. And with that blow, we were able to knock this thing loose. And there it is, the first O2 sensor removed. One thing I also noticed on the frame here is this wear mark, and that was caused by this O2 sensor wire. Taking a closer look at the wire itself, you can see that it has rubbed through the outer protective sheathing. But pulling that sheathing all the way back, I can see that my wires are perfectly intact. So I know that wasn't our problem. And before I install the new part, I want to compare it to the old one just to be sure that everything is exactly correct. So far as I can tell, it is. The connectors are exactly the same as well. I'll now take this brand new part and install it. As you can imagine, the installation of this new O2 sensor is very easy. We just push it into place and screw it in. And once it's finger tight, we can follow it up with our wrench. Then I can make my connection, ensuring that it's fully seated, and reseat the pin. I now have all 4 of the O2 sensors replaced. Everything is buttoned up, and the negative side of the battery has been reconnected. Now that everything's powered back up, I'm going to go back into the diagnostic system. I'm going to go down to erase codes. Erase trouble codes. Are you sure? Yes. Erase done. The codes have now been erased, and I can start this thing up and let it run. No more check engine light, and that's a great sign. The next step is to take it out on a long test drive. This is going to help the computer to relearn everything and get acquainted with its brand spanking new O2 sensors. We can also check to make sure that check engine light does not come back on, so let's do that now. I'm in the truck driving now, and everything seems to be working perfectly fine. No check engine lights. And as a matter of fact, the truck seems to be running really well. I also noticed in the few times I started it up to move it in my driveway and whatnot, the truck seems to be starting a lot easier and quicker. It's definitely driving very smooth. Sitting at this stop sign here, idling, it's idling very smooth also, which is good. Nice and smooth acceleration. So far, so good. No check engine lights. Everything is running exactly like it should. Taking a closer look at the 4 original O2 sensors, I've put them in order. This is the passenger side front, driver rear, passenger rear. And when I say front and rear, I'm talking about in front of the catalytic converter and behind. And you can see the fronts pretty much look the same on both sides, and the rears also look pretty much the same on both sides. So to me, that is a good sign. This tells me that there are no issues on either side of the engine. So you might be wondering, if that code reader only saw that one of the O2 sensors was bad, well, then why did I replace all 4? Well, I replaced all 4 because in this day and age with Amazon, they were extremely cheap. I was able to get GM original equipment parts for about $30 a piece, plus or minus. And when a part is that easy to replace and it's original and one of them has already gone out, I would say it's a good idea just to go ahead and replace them all. And that's what I did. But please don't take my word for it. Do your own research, do your own due diligence. And remember, I am not a trained professional. I'm just your average garage mechanic who loves working on his cars and filming it. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'm Jimmy with One Road, and I will see you in the next one.